Hey everyone, today we're talking about the Western L40 model knife that I've got. Gonna clean it up, picked it up from a knife show the other day. Beautiful, beautiful, it's a great blade. So let me talk to you about the Western. So it started out by Platt. So he lived on the East Coast and he worked for a lot of the knife companies out there on the East Coast. And then in 1911 moved over to Boulder, Colorado. And in Boulder, Colorado, he started the Western Company, Western Cutlery, and worked there. You know, imported at first the knives from the East and brought them in because he knew knives, he knew how to sell, and he knew what people wanted. But then later on in about 1920, started producing his own. And that's when the Western Company really started their great knives. So this is the L40. It's beautiful because it's got a split tang on it and a sweeping blade. Let me show it to you. You can see how beautiful that is. There you go. So yeah, so this is what we're going to be cleaning up and getting ready. And I'm going to show that restoration process here in just a little bit. So that L40 is a great knife. It's got carbon steel. It's got that brass guard. Bird's head, you know, at the end, the pommel. Stacked leather handle. So it's got the spacers with the multiple colors. It's beautiful. And it's got the L40 stamped right on the guard, which shows with the 3 lines on the tang for Western, USA, and Boulder. That puts it right in the 1967 to 1972 when it was created. So it's got some age to it, but it's beautiful. So we're going to take a look at it and just get it straightened up. You know, it's ready for its next life. So with the knife in as good of shape as that, what I'm just going to do is oil down the blade. You know, clean off the guard. There's a little bit of corrosion on there, so I'm going to clean that off. Straighten up the handle a little bit. Just, it looks great. And wipe down the pommel. I'm not going to use any heavy abrasives or anything like that, just because it doesn't need it. And I want to be gentle with it. With the sheath, I'm going to take a look at it. It's a great sheath. A little bit of a cut at the top. I'm going to mess with it a little bit. You know, maybe wipe it down gently, not very heavily at all. And so here's my setup for cleaning today. I'm going to start using some mineral oil and wipe down the blade. Then I'm going to use a little bit of toothpick to scrape off the verdigris on the brass, and then finish it with a little Flitz polish to kind of seal that away. Use some of the Cape Cod for the pommel, shine it up. Use the toothbrush and clean out that handle. It's already sealed, but I want to just make sure some of the dirt and stuff's off and get out of the inside where the marks is. And then use a little bit of the Bic 4 for the leather conditioner on the sheath. So the mineral oil I'm actually putting on the sheet, on the microfiber cloth itself, and then rubbing it on there. I don't want it to pool on there and get anywhere I don't want it to be. So I'm just putting it on the microfiber cloth and cleaning off the blade. The nice thing about mineral oil is it's food grade, so if you use it to cook your fish, everything's healthy, right? There's no issues there. So this will help that, oh yeah, helping that mark stand out. Look at that shine too. Nice. All right, next we can see the green right there next to the stamp. So I'm going to use a toothpick and I'm just going to scrape it off. Yeah, that's much better. Look at scraping that off. Now to put a little bit of the Flitz on there just to seal it, because we don't want any of that green that does nasty stuff to brass and leather. Now for the Flitz, I want to be precise. So I'm using a Q-tip and I just put it on there, and what I'm going to do is I can actually paint where I want it to go on here specifically so it doesn't get on anything else. Alright, now all the bad green is gone and it's shiny. You can see the stamp. Alright, next I'm going to give the handle a good brushing. Soft bristle brush just to get the dirt out of there. It's a sealed handle anyway. They use like a lacquer on it, on the leather, so you don't really have to feed it. It's not leather that, if it gets worn a lot, then you have to really worry about it. But in this case, it's sealed still. So just giving it a dusting, get some of that dirt off of it. All right, and now for just an itty bitty little patch of Cape Cod polishing, just for the aluminum handle at the bottom, the pommel, just to give it a little bit of pop. We gotta be gentle with that because we don't want it to, it scratches easily, so we don't want to put any extra scratches. There's already a couple on there, but that's expected for a 60-year-old, 50, 60-year-old knife. So we'll rub that on there. All right, now it's time to work with that leather. So I put just a little bit of the Bic 4 on there, right? And then I'm going to rub it into the microfiber cloth, and then I'm going to wipe down the leather. All right, and there we go. For a knife that was from 67 to 72 when it was created, man, it looks like new. Look at that. And that sheath just pops after using that conditioner on it. You can see those rivets. Yeah, it's a good one right there.